Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing? Hope you are having an amazing day and not having to deal with drama. Ready for new stories I have for you today? Let's go to the first one. And don't forget to listen to the end of the story, guys, to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. My husband and I are in our 40s and have been married for 22 years. In late September, my husband was out of town for work and emailed me announcing that he wants a divorce. I was completely blindsided and had to call him multiple times before he confirmed he did want a divorce. He claimed he'd been unhappy for a long time and chose to email me while he was away so he wouldn't have to deal with me being hysterical and unreasonable. After a lot of begging for clarification, he said the major reason for divorce is that he can't handle my illness. I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder a couple years ago that caused some painful physical symptoms. I've learned to manage it with a lot of diet control and exercises, but I have occasional flare-ups of pain. More importantly, it hasn't affected his lifestyle at all because he has done nothing to take care of me, and I still manage almost all of the household while working full-time. He stayed away from home for a month, saying he was staying with a friend, but wouldn't tell me what friend. I searched through online credit card charges and cell phone records, and I suspected an affair. I pretended I had figured it out, and he admitted that he was seeing another woman. I searched through years of card charges and found that he had been visiting this location for over a year. I remembered one particular week where I begged him to not travel and take time off to help me because I was in a lot of pain, and we were dealing with a lot of issues. Home heating broke down, son had problems at school, dog needed a lot of vet visits. And he was adamant that he couldn't risk his job and had to go. But it turns out he was visiting this woman. That realization turned my heartbreak into anger, and I was done. I stopped calling him and instead started talking to lawyers. By the time he came home, I had moved all his stuff into a guest room and had a possible plan of action for divorce and division of assets. I didn't argue with him at all, just gave him the paperwork. We have been silent roommates since then, and today he asks me what the menu is for Thanksgiving. I told him there's no way I am hosting a Thanksgiving dinner for his family at this point. He said that since I've done that every year since we were married, my in-laws expect us to host, and I can't cancel at the last minute. All this stress has already exacerbated my pain. I really can't manage a party at my house. I know it is unfair to my in-laws to cancel dinner a few days before the event. But I argued he should be responsible for his family and not expect me to manage them after he tells me he's leaving me. He claims he hasn't told his family anything and doesn't want to ruin Thanksgiving and Christmas for them by making an announcement now. He's calling me petty for refusing to work at hosting them. He cheated on you, blamed the divorce on your illness, did all this while on a trip away for a month, and then not only didn't think to cancel Thanksgiving himself, but also expected you to cook for his family? Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. However, I can't believe how much of an a-hole your husband is. His behavior is a next-level kind of selfishness that gives him a ticket on the Hell Express where you skip the line and just go straight on through. Then the fact that he wants you to still make dinner for his family is extremely repulsive. Since he enjoys spending so much time with his girlfriend instead of taking care of his wife, who is in pain and needs someone to help carry the load, I would tell him that the girlfriend should be the one cooking, hosting, and taking care of his family. You should be relaxing and taking care of yourself. I truly hope you have a family member or friend that you can spend Thanksgiving with and take a load off. Peace. Not the a-hole for not wanting to host Thanksgiving for his family, but I do have a suggestion since he is such a coward. Host it, and when you are serving dinner, pass out copies of the divorce papers, and also let them know why he wants a divorce, because he is a degenerate cheater and a bum for walking out on a good woman because you were sick. Long story short, my sister-in-law has always hated my son. She isn't my husband's child, as I had my son years before I even knew my now husband. My husband loves my son and raises him as his own, as my son's father died after being hit by a drunk driver. My husband loves my son, takes care of him, and sees him as his own child. His family does as well, all except his sister. She has always made comments on how he is just pretending because he isn't his son to her. Well, we just welcomed a baby girl last week. She came to town to meet her niece. She was here for less than 2 hours before saying, "Isn't it great to have an actual child? You are actually a father now." not just playing one with a bastard child. I was livid. I told her to get the hell out of my house. My husband grabbed her bags and threw them out the door into the snow. She looked at him crazy and said, "You're just going to let this bee kick me out for telling the truth?" He told her that she needs to either accept all of his children or to never speak to him again. She started crying all hysterically and left. His parents called and asked what happened. She was at their house expecting to stay there till she goes back home. We told her, and they were livid, kicked her out and told her to grow up. So now she is freaking out on Facebook, telling lies and trying to attempt to make herself look like I turned the whole family against her, and now she is forced to pay for a hotel and be all alone. I have people messaging me and my husband. A lot of people hear our side and then side with us, but some say I need to stop being a sensitive bee. So are we the a-holes? Everyone sucks here. Your sister-in-law for obvious reasons, already stated in this thread. You for making this post to begin with. It's so obvious your sister-in-law was wrong that this just reeks of needing praise. Not the a-hole. Who would say this about a child? She made her bed. Now she can lay in it. Info. Only an insane person says something so ignorant. What is the backstory on your sister-in-law? According to my in-laws, she admitted to them years ago that she felt left out because they were accepting and loving my son like their own grandson. She lives half the country away and admitted she was a bit jealous she had such a good relationship with them while hardly knowing her kids. They told her that they absolutely love her children and thought that was the end of that. Apparently not. It's totally not on them though. My father-in-law is wheelchair-bound and has some serious health issues that prevent him from leaving the house for anything other than doctor's appointments, and has been housebound for 2 years. They only see them when she brings them. She hardly brings them. She takes the trips back home as her mother's getaway 9 times out of 10. It's sad to me because we used to actually be close. Then one day, she just refused to talk to me and only would talk to my husband. We confided in each other. We talked like sisters. Then she just turned into that. I, female 33, just had a miscarriage a week ago. It's been very difficult. This is my 3rd miscarriage, and I literally lost all hope. I feel miserable and unable to sleep just thinking about it, and it's a terrible feeling. My husband is not doing better than me. We both decided to stop trying because we got frustrated with those recurrent miscarriages, and my family has been supportive of our decision. During our first visit to my in-laws, my sister-in-law and her husband and their 3-year-old son were there as well. My sister-in-law is more civil than her husband, who always tries to spite me and my husband for no reason. While we were sitting at the dinner table, I told everyone about our decision to take the time we need to heal because all of our attempts to get pregnant have been frustrating, and I started to get physically ill. Sister-in-law's husband sat his son on his lap and said to my mother-in-law, who looked sad, that his son will be the only grandson she has while he was looking at me to see how I react to his comment. I felt pain in my stomach. I stopped eating because of what he said. My sister-in-law tried to tell him to stop it, but he acted like he did nothing wrong. My husband didn't say anything. He just stood up, washed his hands, and told me that we should go. His sister tried to apologize for her husband's behavior, and so did my mother-in-law. But we left eventually because I was literally holding my tears till we got into the car. My wound was still fresh. I cried in the car thinking of what he said, and it hurt so much. My sister-in-law called about us leaving in the middle of dinner and said that we shouldn't have left and just forgot what he said. She knows he's been like this and is blaming me for being too sensitive. I stopped answering her calls after that. Not the a-hole times 1,000,000. The fact that she called you too sensitive is absolutely ridiculous. He's the a-hole for making that damn comment. Not the a-hole. You are so far from being the a-hole, you had every right to get up and leave. And you didn't make a scene. You just got up and left. That's perfectly fine. Don't put yourself in a situation where you have to feel like that. You can just leave. You aren't obligated to stay, not even for family, not in a situation like that. Not the a-hole. Your reaction was restrained and appropriate given the severity of the insult. Rather than asking you to ignore her boorish husband, your sister-in-law should be asking herself why she tolerates this behavior from the a-hole she married. My husband and I each have 2 kids. He has Elise, 16 female, and Logan, 12 female. And I have Lola, 12 female, and Luke, 9 male. Elise was very sick this past year. She wasn't able to go to school, and she was in and out of the hospital. She started to recover, and her doctor cleared her to go back to school part-time. When my husband heard that Elise could go back to school, he texted Elise's best friend and her boyfriend. He told them the news and asked them to help him plan a big surprise party for her the day of her appointment. And by help, I mean they plan the whole thing, clear it with him, and he hands over his credit card. These kids had no rules, besides the obvious don't break the law, no budget, and no curfew. They could do whatever they want for this party. They planned a very fun party. They rented out the back room of a restaurant Elise likes. Her best friend, boyfriend, and maybe 20 friends will join them. After the restaurant, they rented out a theater at the luxury theater to watch a movie. Then Elise, her boyfriend, best friend, and a couple other kids are going to do an escape room, play laser tag, go go-karting, and go to the arcade. Basically do everything she's missed out on over the past year. They have reservations for everything, and it's all paid for. I looked at how much all of this costs, and it's in the thousands. The problem is, Lola and Luke are only allowed at dinner, and Logan will be picked up after a couple of the activities. I think this is a celebration for all of us, and that all of the kids should be included in this party. But my husband said no. This party is for Elise, and she'd want her friends with her, not her younger siblings. We're not even going to be at the same table as them. I reminded him that Logan will be going to the movies and arcade with them, but my kids aren't allowed, and he said it's because Elise is closer with Logan than my kids, so she'd want Logan there for part of it. I figured I wasn't going to get anywhere with him, so I went to Elise, told her about the party, and asked her to tell her dad to invite her siblings. After the shock from learning about the party wore off, she said she'd rather keep things the way they're planned because it sounds like a lot of fun. She mentioned the party to my husband, and he is furious that I went to her. He says it's not my place to try to insert my kids into her one night out, and is mad that I robbed him of the opportunity to see the surprised look on her face at the party. He's barely spoken to me since then, and I'm starting to wonder if I was the a-hole for ruining the surprise. You're the a-hole. You ruined the fun surprise for someone who has spent a great deal of time sick, and all because your precious kids weren't made into the center of attention for all of one afternoon. Yikes. You're the a-hole. This is not a celebration for all of you. Your kids went to school and had fun activities, while your stepdaughter was ill and hospitalized. It's a celebration for her, and you ruined the surprise out of spite. Oh my God, you're the a-hole. This party was for Elise, not Logan and Lola. What teenage girl wants her two younger siblings with them at a party? They probably want to have more mature conversations and fun. Your spouse is right about robbing him of the surprise on her face, as well as taking that from Elise as well. Are you really so entitled that you couldn't take no for an answer and just move on? My 28 male stepbrother just turned 17, and my dad and stepmom have begun the process of looking for a car for him. For one reason or another, they've decided I should sell my car to them, my stepbrother, for a pretty cheap price, and have been hounding me about it. Issue is that I've got no interest whatsoever in selling. I bought it a few years ago, paid it off, and it's got a fair amount of sentimental value to me. It's a nice reminder of how hard I worked to get it, and surely something I don't take for granted. The value they want to pay is nowhere close to the KBB value, and even if it was, I still wouldn't want to sell it. I don't know how they came to the conclusion I should sell it, but somehow they have. My dad's been giving me a lot of the same points and trying to lay a guilt trip. It would be helping them out tremendously. Family should help each other. It's a car my stepbrother really likes. Would be a great starter car. I could upgrade to something else, etc. I've suggested finding something at a dealership, an absolute no-go, as my dad always has a thing against them and buys private party. Facebook Marketplace, and have even offered, begrudgingly, to loan some money towards one, but none of those were acceptable. My stepmom and I have always been amicable. They got married about 5 years ago, but she's been hostile lately and has tried to recruit other family members to try and get me to change my mind. Sure, it's just a car at the end of the day, and it would help them out a bit, but at the same time, it's a car I enjoy and don't want to set a potentially troublesome precedent going forward. Am I the a-hole here? Not the a-hole. What the duck is wrong with these guys? I'll buy your car, but I don't want to sell my car. You can buy a new one. Now give me yours. Not the a-hole. How can you upgrade if they're not even paying you what the car is worth? Besides, it's your car, and you're not selling, so they can deal with having to get a car elsewhere. Based on the story I was told, it sounds like your parents made a promise to your brother about getting him a car, and forgot how expensive the whole deal is, so are trying to shift the responsibility onto you. The fact they seem unfazed that you'll have to pay out a loan for years to satisfy their need suggests they are rather narcissistic people. The fact your stepmother is relying on family pressure rather than logical argument also suggests they know they have no real grounds for their demands other than they want it. At the moment, have to say, not the a-hole. I got pregnant at 17 a couple months before I graduated high school. I was subject to relentless aggression from classmates, teachers, random adults. My cousin attended the same high school as me and was in the same year and was considered popular among our peers. She was one of the people who picked on me the most. She was relentless and made my life miserable along with her complicit mother, my aunt, who loved to make comments too. My parents ended up falling out with them over this, so it was minimum contact for years. My life was miserable because of them mostly, but I got through it. My then boyfriend got a job, and I did degree online while working part-time, and we got through it. We are now married and both have very well-paying jobs. I have a 6-year-old and another baby on the way, and I wouldn't change a thing. My parents adore their granddaughter, and their great-grandparents absolutely spoil her, and love it too. Our families eventually made up too, through our grandparents, though this is fairly recent, and I don't see my cousin that much as I do resent her. My cousin is unable to get pregnant and is medically infertile. Her and her husband tried for a long time, and her husband recently left her because he wants biological kids. She is understandably devastated. It was my mother's birthday, and the whole family attended the get-together. I showed my mom the scans and revealed the pregnancy at the party. My mother and everyone else was overjoyed. My cousin didn't say much, neither did her mom, but I thought that's fair enough. Later on, I was cuddling my daughter and being silly with her, and everyone was telling me how lovely she is and how lucky I am. My cousin got up, left, and slammed the door. Everyone said to let her sulk, so her mom took her side and said I was being super insensitive and should apologize. I told her I still haven't received an apology for their A and S comments, so I won't be apologizing to anyone, so she left too. My family is divided. Some think I should apologize to keep peace. Some say I have done nothing wrong. I think maybe I should have been more sensitive, as I see where it could have been salt in the wound, but I'm unsure on apologizing. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. You don't stop celebrating life because someone else can't produce it. Not the a-hole. You have nothing to apologize for. People say keep the peace because they are afraid of the other's anger or reactions. That just allows aggressors to keep being aggressive. All I can say to your cousin and aunt is karma. Not the a-hole. You are owed an apology, a big one. No, that won't magically make her problems go away, but my God, you're owed basic human decency. I also don't think you were rubbing anything in her face. You showed your mom a scanned photo. Unless there's a chunk of the story missing here, I can't see what you did wrong. They'd have found out about the baby anyway, and you'd have had it in the neck for not telling them. Looks to me like they were always going to find a way to make you feel crappy.